So, what's up, guys? I know that it has been weeks, literally, since I've vlogged. I'm so sorry about my hair. This is what happens when it's humid. It doesn't react well to anything. So, there are several things that I'd like to talk about this week with these videos. The reason I haven't made one is, one, we had spring break, and two, we had midterms. And I have a lot of papers due in the next 2 weeks, and it's killing me. I'm just gonna put this right here so that it doesn't look so shitty. Yeah, it works. One thing that I want to talk about is coming out. As anything. I mean, there's always going to be some people that you're going to have to tell things about yourself that are not obvious. My sister and I had a conversation about this over break. Because she was telling me not to argue with my parents so much, and how I needed to show my parents that I love them more. And I popped off, if I didn't love them, I would have told them years ago. And she's like, what are you talking about? Because I came out to her back in November. And her reaction was, oh, I knew. I'm like, really? Was that obvious? But apparently. She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, if I didn't love mom and dad, I would have told them years ago that their daughter was a freak of nature. More so than they already thought. And she told me there's no way that mom and dad would stop loving you. And I couldn't believe that. Because I'm like, my eldest sister, okay, you have to know this story to understand where I'm coming from. My eldest sister, when I was 7 years old, she turned 18. And she ran away from home. And she went to live with a black guy. I don't even know his name. And my dad pretty much disowned her at that point and told her not to come back. Well, she came back 2 years later, because my parents are very traditional and do not believe in interracial marriage. Even though we're like 4 races, but whatever works. It's just the way they were raised. My sister came back. Erica came back when I was 9 for 3 days. Took a bunch of money from my parents. Got together with my parents, took a bunch of money from them. Told them that she was trying to get her own place and that she would definitely come visit and all that stuff, and that she was turning her life around and she's going to find a good man. And she went right back to him, even though he was abusive. She went right back to him. And I'm so sorry about that buzzing. There's a fan because it's a freaking sauna in this room. But she went right back to him, and that was horrible. And I have not seen her since. I lied. That's a lie. I saw her once since, and she was pregnant with a broken nose because he hit her in the face. I was 12. She was pregnant with a broken nose because he hit her in the face. A few weeks before that, he had hit her in the face. So, yeah. And I popped that off to my sister. I was like, well, they stopped loving Erica really easily. And she looked at me and she's like, they never stopped loving Erica. It's like, they stopped talking to her. They refused to have contact with her child and her husband because he's black. And she told me that's not the reason. The reason she does that, the reason they do that is because she stole from them, betrayed them, and then ran away. Twice. And I'm like, but Jen did that. My older sister Jen has done that like 4 times at least, if not more. And she's like, yeah, but that was the first time they experienced that. And if Erica walked through the door tomorrow, Dad would take her back in a second. And I couldn't help but start crying because I'm like, how do you explain bisexual to your traditionalist parents? Do they even know that exists? Do they even understand it? Do they understand gay? I mean, like, there's a starting point. Do they even understand that shit? You know what I mean? Do they understand sexual orientation at all as a science? Because I do. I've seriously, am thinking of taking something to do with, like, there's a sexual studies minor here that you can take. It's like, and it deals with all that stuff. It's like a sexual psychology or something like that. Most people who are majoring in social work take it, so I think I'm going to do that because I am majoring in social work. So that's probably one of my focuses is going to be sexual orientation and sexual abuse and everything like that. But anyway, like, how do you explain it to them? How do you get that? You know what I mean? And I firmly believe that I was born this way, and I firmly believe that everyone is born sexually attracted to some kind of sex. Is not how you are raised. I know some very Catholic people who are very gay. There are some very Catholic people out there that are very gay. Just saying. There are some very gay Republicans, actually. We won't go into that, but there are. There are public office figures who are gay and Republican. And you can Google them. One tried to run for president and failed. But I just could not fathom coming out to my parents. And I'm sorry that I don't have a coming out experience to share with you to give you strength. A lot of my friends do. So if you want to hear some of those, I can have them send in their stories, and I will read them to you, or I can have them videotape their stories and link it. But I just cannot tell you, except for coming out to my sister. Like, coming out to my friends wasn't really hard. I did that in my It Gets Better video. To a couple of my friends, that was my official coming out, but they're like, we knew. What are you talking about? I had to come out to my best friend's boyfriend really quick because he thought I was hitting on him, and they had left the room. They had went to the bathroom, because when you're in someone else's building at Ball State, you have to be escorted to the bathroom, because otherwise they get, like, really testy about that, because you're basically trespassing. So my friend escorted my other friend to the bathroom, and he's like, and he turned to me, it was just us, and he turned to me, and he's like, so, are you hitting on me? Or what's going on? Because you're kind of making me uncomfortable. And I was like, I'm not really attracted to men that much. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I kind of prefer women. And then he's like, but what about Jake, who was this guy who I liked at the time? And I was like, well, that's more of just a straight for him type situation, because he's the first guy I've been attracted to in a really, really long time. Like, genuinely attracted to in a really long time. And he's like, oh, so you're not gay? I was like, no, I'm bisexual, but I just prefer women. I really do. And he's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Alright, so I have nothing to worry about. I was like, no, you have nothing to worry about at all. And I'm so sorry I look like shit. But it's almost 12:30, and I've been up since like 7:30 this morning, so running on fumes. Literally, this is my fuel right now. Mountain Dew, and I've got, like, M&Ms I'm snacking on and shit, with, like, anything with sugar to keep me awake to write a paper. And I just got done with the first half of it, and I decided to make this video because a bunch of my friends have been asking me to make videos on certain subjects. The next video I'll be making is going to be on loss and death and grief. And I know these are, like, hard subjects, but they're life subjects, and that's just how it is. In my Ed High class yesterday, which is my class I have to take to be an RA next year, which I didn't get the job, by the way, but they said that's, like, really common, because there are so few RA spots to begin with, that if you apply mid-year, usually you can get one. Because there are so few to begin, like 200 people apply, and there's usually only, like, 50 positions. So really, your chances of getting it aren't even that high. And I'm not really brokenhearted about it, because I have an audition for the Ball State Singers in a month, and I made the Dean's List last semester. So I'd say, all in all, decent. You know what I mean? Like, weigh the good against the bad, and it's fine. And so I know these are hard subjects, but I feel like they need to be talked about. But in my Ed High class, we were playing Cross the Line, and one question was, I believe it is perfectly acceptable to have casual sex. There were only, like, 6 of us that said yes to this. And there's, like, 25, counting the teachers, there's, like, 30 people in this class. And I'm just looking at these people, and I'm like, you're in college. Casual sex is pretty much what we do. I believe it's perfectly okay, just so you know. I believe that is perfectly fine as long as you are safe about it. As long as you're not an idiot about it, I think it's perfectly fine. And then another question was, I believe same-sex marriage should be legalized. And they were all but 4. Only one of my instructors stayed on the no side, and 3 classmates stayed on the no side. And I looked around and I was like, wow. Because some of those people were really, really Christian. Like, they talked about God every 10 seconds. And I'm Christian, but I don't talk about God every 10 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm not extremist Christian. But, like, I just looked around and I felt so supportive. So supported and so welcome. And these people, you know, I've been talking to them all semester, and they're very nice people, and I really enjoy their company. And I would like to stay friends with a lot of them. A couple of them I haven't had a conversation with yet, so I don't really know if I want to enjoy their company, or not, but, you know. But yeah, and I was like, that is really awesome. That is really, really awesome. And that is what you need. When you come out, you need a support system. And none of them knew that I did not come out to any of them yet. But I'm thinking now I might. Now that I know they're going to be completely okay with it and it's not going to change most things. Because one question was, if I found out my friend was a homosexual, it would change our relationship. And I was like, no, it really wouldn't. Like, seriously. There were only like 2 people who went to the no side on that question, who went to the yes side on that question, and I was very impressed. And one girl explained afterwards, she's like, it would change some things, but I wouldn't stop being their friend. But yes, it would change the relationship. So I guess it was how the phrasing was. But I understand that aspect of it. One more point before I go. When you come out, you're supposed to feel relieved. But if you go and watch most of the videos on YouTube of people coming out, it is emotional. It is probably one of the hardest things that you will do in life, especially to your with your parents, you know what I mean? But if it's a positive experience, or eventually becomes a positive experience, because some parents just need time to process, if it eventually becomes a experience, you'll love it, I promise. Yeah, so that's that. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.